This one is from Milliken, where we saw some of our worst damage coming in. Tracy sent in this picture. She said that they are safe, but they do have damage to their home and their car, which is just the worst news to hear. Look at how giant that was, and you can see all the different reports. We had them up through Fort Collins, near Greeley as well. North side of the metro area toward Thornton saw hail this morning, and then also out toward Fort Morgan. And we are not done just yet. I still have some storms that are moving on through. One is just to the east of the Pinery, north of Elizabeth. That severe thunderstorm warning in place until 6:30. We also have a very strong storm that's moving north of Deer Trail. Look at all of that lightning associated with that storm, and then one that we're looking right through Akron toward Otis as well, and then along I-76. So it is a busy morning, and we've got more on the way. So we're going to get a little bit of a break, and then early afternoon, another round of storms develop. 1, 2 o'clock, you can see some storms firing along the northern Front Range. Between about 2 and 4, we could see more storms moving on through the heart of the metro area, including out at the airport. There could be some impacts when it comes to flights there. And then the good news is we should be done after that. Here's the deal. If we stay fairly cloudy, that should help to keep those storms a little bit weaker for this afternoon. And after the morning that we've had, I think that's something that we hope for at this point. If you get that sun coming out with this juicy atmosphere, that just energizes it, and that can create those stronger storms. Hail, again, 2 inches or higher in diameter. Damaging wind, isolated tornadoes, all possible, especially over the eastern plains. So guys, put the car in the garage. We've already seen damage this morning in parts of Colorado, and there's another chance for later on today.
Busy weather day. Yeah. Kylie will be on it. We'll get a check with meteorologist Kylie Bearse. So we've seen photos coming in from Milliken with baseball-size hail.
Unbelievable.
Even in Thornton, 128th Avenue, not too far north of Denver, they've had some good-sized hail as well.
Well, and we're not done just yet. We've got some severe storms that are still moving through parts of the metro area, and then also up to the north and east. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. I've got one little storm that's developing right toward Littleton, moving through Glendale right now, that is moving down to the south and east. I'm also watching for some potential hail in Parker this morning, and you can see a good amount of rain, some lightning associated with this system. This severe thunderstorm warning is in place for another 20 minutes here, and it does include Fort Collins. And whenever you see that pop of that bright blue, that indicates that hail potential that we're working with here. So zooming on in, I was just telling you about Englewood, Littleton dealing with so far just a quick little heavy downpour, a little bit of lightning associated with this storm, and then coming to the north and east. Look at all of this lightning. These storms are packing an incredible punch here. So coming down through Akron, we are still under that severe thunderstorm warning there until 6 o'clock this morning, getting nailed. Possibly some very large hail in this area. Let me know if you're seeing anything in the Akron area. And then coming up, I've been watching this storm right along 76. We are getting some pretty decent hail. This storm hasn't quite reached that warning potential, but of course we're going to be watching it closely. We are not quite done. Give it the next couple of hours, and then we're going to get a bit of a break. But we are not done for the day either. We've got another round of storms moving in by 12:30, 1 o'clock. We're going to start to see those storms developing, and then the models have been fairly consistent. Between about 2 and 4, the metro area could see a very strong, very severe storm that could have some large hail, damaging wind, and even isolated tornadoes for later on this afternoon. Now, if we stay pretty cloudy, that's going to weaken these afternoon storms. If you get the sun to peek out, that is really going to energize this already fairly juicy atmosphere. The good news is we should be mostly done by 5, 6 o'clock this evening. So once those storms move through by later on this afternoon, we should get a break. However, it's going to last a little bit longer out over the eastern plains. We've got that level 2 threat coming right into the heart of the metro area. That's a fairly high threat for us here. And then a level 3 threat that we don't see very often here in Colorado when we're looking out toward Lyman and Burlington. That's your best chance for seeing some tornadoes later on this evening. So Pinpoint Weather Alert Day, we'll talk a little bit more about what could be some record-breaking heat later this week, guys, in just a few.
All right. Thank you, Kylie.
That's the problem, is that we're not done. We've got more on the way. So this morning, all of these severe thunderstorm warnings have been allowed to expire. We still have some storms down to the south and east, and to the north and east as well. A lot of lightning, a lot of rain. That hail potential a lot smaller this morning. So of course we're watching that. But my last one, sort of in the metro, is out toward Elizabeth. So that's pretty far out there. But more on the way. So here's the deal. If we stay cloudy today, that will weaken these storms that are arriving for later on this afternoon. But if we get some sunshine, that could really energize those storms and help them be a little bit stronger. This will be an early initiation time, 12:30, 1 o'clock, especially up toward Fort Collins. And then models have been fairly consistent between about 2 and 4, showing the clock here right around 3 o'clock this afternoon for a strong storm in the heart of the metro that will have some hail potential. That's out at the airport as well. If you're driving to the airport today, you're parking out that direction, I would try and find some covered parking. We'll of course be watching it. Now the good news is once we're done by dinner time, 5, 6 o'clock, o'clock, we should be in the clear. We're going to be watching the eastern plains until later on this evening because that severe weather threat today. Hail over 2 inches in diameter. Isolated tornadoes are a possibility, especially when we're looking a little bit farther south and east. We barely had a chance to talk about temperatures today, guys. It's a cooler day before record-breaking temperatures this weekend. We'll talk about when we're in the triple digits coming up.
Well, we'll enjoy the cooler temperatures, but busy morning in the weather department. Look at the reported hail sizes out there.
I mean, baseball-size hail in Colorado in the overnight hours. So rare and unusual. Here's a look at those reports. Wellington, 2.5 inches. Johnstown reporting 2 inches, and just below that in Eaton and in Milliken, although Milliken is where we're seeing most of the reports of the damage. We are not done. We've got another round on the way for the early afternoon with more hail possible, even isolated tornadoes. Meanwhile, this morning, we barely talked about your temperatures. Let's get you out the door. Backus and check your camera. In the low 60s right now, 63 in Fort Collins, 60 degrees in Hudson, and we're at 58 in Castle Rock. For today, we're in the upper 70s. That's it. It's going to be a cool day, your only cool day of the week. We'll talk a little bit more about that and some record-breaking heat this weekend. Triple digits possible, guys, in just a few.
Still ahead here at 7 o'clock.